what this is that's causing this problem. He's been through so much. And the Lord, we just said, Lord, we prayed, Lord, that we don't want him to suffer. We said, Lord, if he's to suffer or whatever, we said, take him. We'd rather him be in heaven than him here suffering. And the Lord, his answer back to us was he gave us a sense of peace. Now Hunter was still sick for a while after that, and we didn't know what was causing it, but we were given a sense of peace to know that he was going to get better. And we asked the Lord to heal him and to use him, and it was tough, but he saw us through. And we got to a point shortly after that, he said, I had a sense of peace to know that Hunter was going to be okay. He was still getting sick. Doctors were telling us that he could get meningitis and be dead in 2 days. And, when you're having blood work in different labs, there's these lab reports get sent to different doctors, and we had them call from down in Tampa and say, you've got to hospitalize him right now or he's going to die, and people that we hadn't been dealing with. And this was after the Lord had given us a sense of peace. And I didn't accept that. I called our pediatrician and we said, look, this doctor who doesn't really know Hunter, but he's looking at these numbers and he's saying he's got to be taken down to the hospital. I said, he's no different than he has been. You've seen him. I said, if you feel like he's got to be hospitalized, we'll take him, but otherwise we're not going to. And the doctor agreed that he didn't need to be hospitalized to keep close watch on him as we did. He was just constantly sick. There was even a time where I was having to give him shots 2 or 3 days a week they thought would help boost his immune system. But as we went through different doctors and different hospitals, they had said to us that they're the best specialist in the United States for his condition of neutropenia that he had was in Birmingham. And we at that time, the real estate market in Florida had gone crazy. The values of everything they'd gone up like double and triple. Well, along with that, your taxes went way up. And then there had been some hurricanes that had came through, and that drove the property insurance up in Florida through the roof. So we had another problem. The home that when we originally bought it, that we could afford, we could no longer afford. We could afford the actual payment on the house. We could not afford the taxes and the insurance because they had gone up so high. And so we were struggling financially, both working full time and with Hunter being sick. And we had been looking to try to move. Beth's Aunt Dulcie was alive at that time, and we'd come up and visit her quite a bit, and we really liked this area. But it's a big step to move away from your parents, to move away from what you know. And we said, Lord, we could do it on our own, and we're probably going to fail. And so we prayed and asked the Lord to show us his will. And I don't claim to be very smart, so I said, Lord, I need you to clearly show me the way or slam the door in my face so where I can't mistake your answer. And there were a number of things that had to happen. First of all, one of us had to get a significant job, a solid job here before we could do that. We had to find a place that could take care of Hunter at that time. He was 2 years old then. We'd have to find a good daycare. And Beth had she saw where there was a job at Jacksonville State online, and she called, and they agreed to let her come up and interview her. And we came up and visited quite a bit prior to that, so we knew the area pretty well. We came up, she was offered a job right then and there, and we looked at the man, Pete Conroy, that was interviewing her. And we said, we've got to find out about a daycare. And he said, we have one here. Jacksonville State had their own daycare for employees, and we went and visited it that day. We had to drive back to Florida that afternoon, but the Lord he was lining everything up. So we got home, we kept praying, we put our house on the market, and it sold within just a couple of weeks. The Lord lined up everything just perfectly. There was no mistake in it. And so we moved up here, and he blessed us, and we took Hunter to see the doctors in Birmingham. And it wasn't long, and they decided that we had talked with them, and they said they had seen some kids with the same condition that he had. They don't know what causes it, but they said that from what they've seen, about the time that they turn 4 years old, it just kind of goes away. So they had us to stop giving him the shots I was having to give him. He stopped being poked and prodded so much. They actually had him see another doctor there, who gave him a shot, and it boosted up the other half of his immune system, and I don't know, there's two sides to your immune system, and I'm not a doctor, and I don't know that much about that, but that shot, you know, that other part of his immune system was strengthened up quite a bit. And then by the time he had turned 4, they were right. He stopped getting sick all the time. And he still everybody gets sick some, and he's had pneumonia a couple of times, more than maybe some his age do. But the Lord blessed us, and he guided us through that situation, and I'm so thankful for that. And I just wanted to share that personal testimony with everybody. I know there's a lot of folks here, a lot of folks in our congregation, a lot of those that are in our family that are going through so much right now. And I just wanted to encourage each and every one to just look at those situations that you're going through and ask yourself, am I really relying on God, or am I trying to take these on by myself? Just take a minute and think about that, because sometimes we're not made to take on the world by ourselves. We can think, well, this problem's too small to worry God about it. I'm going to take that on. You get too many of them and they'll weigh you down. And so just take a minute and think about, are you really relying on God to help you walk through those problems? Are you giving God the opportunity to show you? He's waiting. You just ask him, and he'll take on that opportunity, and he'll help you. And we know that problems, they're not solved just like that. And we know that God's timing is different from our timing, and there's times that we think something ought to turn out one way, and God's will is for it to go another way. And, you know, when we're praying for one another,